Hi, everybody. So, my name is Isabella. I'm the public relations intern for People of Happiness US. And today we're having our podcast and positivity event. So, we're going to wait till Amanda joins and we'll get started around 7. So, hang on tight and we'll get started soon. I hope everyone's been having an amazing long weekend. Personally, my long weekend has been really relaxing. Hi, everybody. We're going to get started in a couple minutes. We're just waiting for Amanda to join. But yeah, I hope everyone's been really mindful about the holiday. I mean, like,
Hey,
hello. How are you?
good. How are you?
I'm great. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes just so we're on top of everything. But how's your weekend been?
It's good. We went to the pool today and did some laundry and, all the nice things. What about you?
Mine's been good. It's good to have like extra time to relax and everything. I've been at home with my family.
Nice. That's
Hmm.
awesome. Cool.
Super excited to finally get to do this. I feel like it's been long anticipated.
I know. I'm so excited. I feel like it'll be a good conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, are you going to restart it at 7 or just pick up from here?
We'll pick up from there at 7. If you
Okay.
want to leave for a couple minutes, like we're basically gonna start in like 2 minutes. So
And hang for sure. Oh, I have an eyelash in my eyeball. I'm gonna go get the eyelash out of my eyeball. I will be right back. I'll rejoin us.
alrighty. Mm-hmm. Hi, everybody. I see a couple people are joining. If you guys have any questions for Amanda while we wait for her to come back, feel free to drop them in the chat or leave them in the question box. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to answer them. So, yeah. We have a very interesting conversation planned. Hey, Kat. We're just waiting for Amanda to come back. She had an eyelash. But yeah, no, I'm so excited for this. Amanda's a really great person, and once you guys will see all she does for the mental health community, you guys are going to love her. She is awesome. Happy Memorial Day to you, too. Actually, guys, this is such a fun fact. Oh, hey.
I'm back.
Just on time, too. So, might as well get started. So,
Yeah.
hello, everybody. My name is Isabella, and I'm the public relations intern for People of Happiness. And we're joined today by Amanda Young. Amanda Young is a mental health. Wow. I'm so sorry. Okay. We'll just talk over it.
It's fine.
Okay, so Amanda Young is a mental health advocate, an author, and a podcast host whose personal mission is to eliminate the stigma of brain illnesses by educating people on what depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress and bipolar disorders actually are. She starts important conversations on her social media platforms and podcasts by encouraging others to speak up and seek help, which I think is amazing. I personally am a huge fan of your podcast. So we're really excited to have you today to just talk about National Mental Health Awareness Month and a bunch of other fun things.
Yes. Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And same, I'm excited to start some good conversations.
Of course, we're happy to have you. So, do Do you want to maybe give us like a little origin story recap?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people ask me like why or how I started my platform and where it all started. And honestly, I've been on Instagram since the app originated. Total millennial here. And I realized that there was a way that you could really build a community online. And, I feel like when we were all growing up, we were told like the internet is scary and don't talk to people that you don't know, like stranger danger. But when I was online, like at least with Instagram, I was finding that there's a lot of people sharing their common experiences, and it made me feel really less alone. So in my early 20s, I kind of decided to start my own community and started sharing more and more about my life, and found out that, again, what I was going through wasn't unique, which was amazing because I was able to find people that, like I said, were going through the same things as me, and I found a lot of comfort in that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like social media can be such an important tool too. I feel like people tend to look at it in such a negative way sometimes, and yeah, there's negative ways to it, but it's really important to just shed the light. Like that's social media brought us together here today, and I think that's something really special.
exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people put like negative connotations, like you said, on social media because it can be a highlight reel, and sometimes people use it to show only the best parts of their life. But again, I think that's why this movement, especially talking about mental health awareness, is important, because for a lot of people, social media is the source of a lot of bad mental health. So
For sure. For everyone just joining, we're here with that girl Manda, and also Happy Memorial Day. Um, to highlight that we do live in, I think, a very great country, and we're fortunate enough to be able to express so many freedoms. So today's such an important day to highlight everyone that fights for those freedoms. So it's important to reflect on that. So might as well move along. So National Mental Health Awareness Month is sadly coming to an end, but I feel like there's a lot to reflect on after such an important month. So people of happiness, we do focus a lot on mental health and just trying to spread happiness in every way we can. Um, so National Mental Health Awareness Month is really just a push for greater awareness of all the struggles that people may go through. So how has your National Mental Health Awareness Month been? How do you think that we can bring greater awareness into the community?
yeah, I always, basically, we can always keep bringing more awareness. I would say that this is my first mental health awareness month celebrating and really reflecting on how far I've come, because all the ones before I thought that I had arrived and that I had fully healed, but last year I went through a lot of like diagnoses and like coming to term with some of the mental illnesses that I had. And so this year I really feel like I'm able to look at it from a new perspective and really bring awareness to some of the disorders that I have and to break some stigma. So, like I said earlier, we can always keep advocating and talking. It's definitely something we need to keep bringing up for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like conversations like these just push for a greater normalization of mental health problems, and um, just causes like this makes the world really just more aware that it's more common than we think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I, especially with what happened the past 2 years with the pandemic, I guarantee you there's not one person that hasn't felt anxiety about all the things in the world changing, or loneliness and symptoms of depression too. And so that's something that we can, again, all have in common, these big life events that are happening in the world. And that's when we can have these conversations to open up about how we're feeling and how we're truly doing.
Yeah, for sure. And that totally ties in with kind of People of Happiness's mission. We basically started because of the pandemic and all the negativity that came from it. So really just fighting for just greater well-being and self-awareness, that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to just focus on taking care of yourself and making the world a better place.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So, are there any stereotypes surrounding mental health that really, really bother you, or you think that need to be cleared up?
Yeah, where do I start? For me personally, so I have been diagnosed with a couple different mental health disorders, like I said, but the big one that I got last year was bipolar 2 disorder. And there's a lot of negative connotations and stigma surrounding the bipolar disorder spectrum as a whole. And one thing that I really love trying to talk about is, again, that a lot of these mental health disorders that we talk about, even depression, anxiety, bipolar, they're spectrum disorders, which means that there might be someone that is experiencing a very severe end of the spectrum and other people that are able to cope in different ways. And I think the stigma of all people with depression are like this and all people with bipolar are like this is really harmful. And just as we are so unique as humans, the way our mental health affects us is so unique as well too. And so I try to live my life as an example of someone who has bipolar disorder, but is able to live a really happy and fulfilled life and can hold a job and have relationships and all these things that previously in the 90s psychiatrists said weren't possible for people with bipolar. So that's a big thing that I like to talk about. It's just that everything's a spectrum, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I really like your approach to addressing the whole issue. I really think that you present yourself in a very bright and positive way, and that's something that people don't really expect. Yeah, oh, all the colors, all the rainbow, and I think that's just so unique and amazing, and it's something that's honestly really hard to find. Mental health is viewed in such just scary ways sometimes, and it's really important to just show that it's a comfortable zone. You can find a place of just well-being and self-awareness that can just make you feel happy.
Yeah. One thing that really helped me too is all the things that society and the world told me were wrong about myself. So, like having bipolar, I've flipped around and said that, okay, but yeah, I have these two extreme poles, but the one extreme that can be mania means that I'm extremely creative, I'm extremely passionate and driven, and that can be my superpower. And also, the deeper pole of depression, it means that I'm a highly empathetic person, which means that I feel in these extremes, which gives me such a better capacity to relate to all different types of people. And if you think about it, like people who experience depression, that means that you are so in tune with your body that your body is telling you to slow down to save you and saying, hey, we need to take a break. And people with anxiety, that means that your brain is working at 90 miles a minute because you're hyper aware and you have this awareness about your life that not everyone has. And so I think there's a way that we can appreciate our bodies and our brains and the fact that they're constantly trying to keep us surviving and the great lengths that they go to by having these disorders.
Yeah, for sure. I really think that it's important to highlight how empowering like some aspects of your mind can work, and instead of looking at it as kind of like a punishment or like a curse, you can look at it in a way that is beneficial.
Yeah. I mean, my entire life I strove to be unique and special. And so while getting the diagnosis was a big blow at first. Now I'm like, well, that's one more thing that makes me unique. Like, I'm Amanda, and this is one more thing that makes me special. And so, yeah, I wear it as a badge of honor now, honestly. So,
I love that. So is there anything you wish you knew about mental health before coming to terms with your diagnosis or really just discovering the mental health community?
yeah, I wish I would have given myself permission to feel the way I was feeling. Like we talked about society, especially growing up like in my early 20s, hustle culture was really real and this idea of perfectionism and getting the American dream life with the husband and the dogs and the picket fence and all of that and just feeling this overwhelming pressure to do what society told me to do to be successful. And while that has come along the way, my life has also taken twists and turns that maybe weren't the normal path that people go. And so I guess when it comes to mental health, I just wish I would have known that whatever works for me works for me. And that doesn't mean that has to be the same path that someone else takes. And the same thing with mental health. If going to therapy and taking medication works for me, it might not for someone else, but I just need to focus on myself and realize that, in order to take care of me, I need to listen to what I need and what serves me.
Yeah, I really think that kind of just being more accepting of everything, I think, is super important and something that people kind of blow over when it comes to mental health. I, as a college student myself, I totally understand you with the hustle culture, high pressure, because I feel like I'm always needing to be do something, even though sometimes I really just need to not do anything at all and relax. Um, so yeah, I totally understand just having to accept that you are who you are, and that's perfectly okay.
Yep. Yep. And like I said, it's your superpower. There's no one else like you. So again, it's okay to be unique. It's okay to approach things differently. And it's okay if other things affect you differently too.
For sure. So, when things don't seem as positive or as great as you might want them to be, what are ways that you cope with that, or just ways that you like address your mental health problems?
Yeah, so especially with having bipolar disorder and major depressive disorder and anxiety, they all kind of work together against me. And so what's really great is over this past year, I've really become in tune with my body and what my stressors are. And so for me, a big thing is having routine. And so when I know that something is out of my control or my routine is going to be messed up, say I'm going on vacation or this 4-day holiday weekend, you know, I know that that has the potential to bring on a episode for me. And so again, being so in tune with my body, I can talk to my close friends in my circle, maybe schedule an extra therapy appointment with my therapist, ask my partner to remind me to take my meds every morning just because I can anticipate something that might throw a curveball in my life. Um, the other thing too is just giving myself grace. So again, with bipolar disorder, you swing between manic episodes and depressive episodes. And when I'm in those depressive episodes, just understanding that that's the way my brain is coping with information around me and the world around me, and that my body is literally telling me to slow down and to rest and give myself grace, is that it's okay. It's okay. And, I can still do the bare minimum I need to survive and continue at my job, but I don't need to expect 100% from myself right now. So, yeah, grace.
I can totally relate to the routine part. I love having like my routine and like doing everything at like the same time. But it's really easy for that routine to be thrown off, and that like totally affects me sometimes.
Oh,
So I totally get you with just being forgiving and being flexible, because life is definitely not the perfect routine that we want. So being flexible and just being okay with whatever comes our way, I think
exactly.
is
Yeah, that was a big lesson to learn, is that I'm not in control of anything and things are constantly out of my control. And so instead of wasting all that effort on trying to control things, I can just, take a step back and roll with the punches.
for sure. Um, so you do work really closely with a lot of organizations and um, advocacy groups that honestly I think are amazing. So do you want to highlight any of them, or highlight any resources that you think people can reach out to?
Yeah, so I have really enjoyed my time working with the International Bipolar Foundation. As we've talked about many times already in this conversation, bipolar is really near and dear to me. It obviously affects me and some of my family members as well too. And so I have loved being involved with that organization. They are so kind and have incredible resources and peer groups and support groups, and again have been incredible in sharing my story and for me to learn about other people's stories as well too. And then I've also done some work with NAMI, so the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Again, they're incredible. They asked me if I would participate on International Bipolar Day and chat with them about breaking stigma about bipolar. And so again, that was an incredible opportunity to talk to the mental health community about a mental illness that's still stigmatized. And so, yeah, that has been incredible. And then the other organization that I really, really love too is Dive Through. So Dive Through is an incredible app that helps you. It's almost like a online journal, and it helps you check in with your feelings. And they not only have journal prompts, but there's grounding techniques and breathing exercises and resources to therapists and peer-reviewed articles and things like that. And so I really love utilizing that app and bringing it into my routine. So yeah, those are a couple.
I really love like doing little practices like every day, just like whether it's journaling or meditation. I think those are super powerful just to add to our routines and just keep us like sane during all the craziness that goes on. But yeah, I really love that you're working with all these organizations and getting to support them, and they're supporting you as well.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's great. It just builds into that community that we talked about, and again, bringing tons and tons of stigma. So,
Uh, we also wanted to talk about how you are a Tampa local. So our US branch is also based in Tampa.
yeah,
So um, speaking specifically with the Tampa community or maybe in surrounding areas, what are some of your favorite spots to chill and relax and take some downtime?
yeah. So I live in the North Tampa area, but I love getting down to downtown Tampa. I'm a big fan of any like trendy and cool coffee shop. That's like the vibes that I love. I would say my favorite place to go right now currently is just down in Hyde Park because there's so much down there to do, and there's restaurants and coffee shops, and then just it's beautiful being outdoors and being able to shop around as well too. So yeah, the whole like Channel Side and yeah, that whole area in Hyde Park and Soho is a really awesome place to be.
Yeah, I love that. Recently, I discovered that Armature Works does like yoga classes outside on the weekends, and they have amazing. Like, I went to one, I think in October, and I am dreaming of going back. It was such a great experience.
Yeah, so does Sparkman Wharf as well too. Sparkman Wharf, which is at the end of the Riverwalk. You can start at Armature and then go down to Sparkman Wharf. But they have a lot of cool events too, like movies on the lawn and really cool things like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I love connecting like with people in Tampa. I don't even live in Tampa. I live in South Florida,
Yeah.
but I love going to Tampa whenever I can. It's honestly such a great place to be.
It's up and coming. It's funny. I went to school here. I went to USF like over 7 years ago now. And when I was going to school here, it was not the place that it is now. So living back here as an adult, just like these college kids have it so nice. This is not what it was like when I was in college. It was not cool. Like the Bucks were not really a thing. No one cared about them, you know. And so it's cool to see Tampa kind of coming into its own as one of the number one cities that people are moving to, which blows my mind because it was not that way 10 years ago.
Oh, for sure. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your podcast? I know that I've mentioned that I'm a huge fan, but to people that maybe haven't listened to it before, do you want to give them a little introduction?
Yeah, of course. So my podcast is a mental health based podcast. It's titled Sunshine and Rainbows. And the kind of tag behind that is we talk about all the moments when life isn't. So again, going back to that social media highlight reel thing, people only talk about and post about it, the good things that are going on in their life. And that was something that really affected me in my mental health early on, like I said, in my early 20s, because I was playing that comparison game and comparing my behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel. And it just wasn't adding up why my life just didn't seem that good. And so I had always wanted to start a podcast and had the opportunity to start one. And it started out by me kind of talking about experiences in my own life and really quickly turned into interviewing guests and talking about some incredible things that they've been through. And so I learned early on that I wanted it to be a platform to help amplify other voices. And while, yeah, maybe some things that I've gone through, I think are pretty significant, other people have gone through experiences as well too. And so it's been incredible to see just how much the podcast has blossomed over the year and a half that it's been going. So yeah, you can find it anywhere that you listen to your podcasts for free. Yeah. Sunshine Rainbows. That's me.
Oh, that's great. I really love listening to your podcast. I'm a huge podcast listener when I'm at work, and literally like I'll be like filing papers and I'm just listening to the podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I will say that it is taking a break right now because there's been some life changes going on in my life. So we are taking a break, but hopefully in the fall, we can get back to going consistently. But yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So we also did want to highlight that you are a author. We know that you have two children's books, if I'm correct. Okay. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so last year was a busy year for me. I did a lot of projects and a lot of, things that I had always thought would be cool to do. And yeah, I just took last year as, you know what, I'm going to do them and I'm going to try. Why not? And so I wrote my first children's book titled Jumo the Unicorn last fall. And it was an incredible opportunity to kind of share some stories that were inspired by my time as being a zookeeper and then also tying in some mental health and inclusivity stories as well too. So there's awesome messages of friendship and love and empathy and bravery in that book. And I was incredibly humbled and honored that it reached a number one bestseller on Amazon and is really doing amazing. And so after the success of that book, everyone was asking to continue the series. And so the second book, Manda's Magical Zoo, came out in March. And again, that it ties into animals and a zookeeper who can talk to her animals and how she finds bravery in her own voice to stand up for others that are in need. So yeah, it's a I'm really fond. I'm really fond of those stories.
Yeah, congratulations. I really love just like putting really meaningful lessons into such easy things to understand. So I congratulations on having a bestseller and everything. That's honestly amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted a way to start conversations at that young age. Right now, as adults, there's some pretty big conversations going on in our world right now, and that can be kind of confusing for tiny humans. And so I wanted to create an avenue of where you can create that safe space at home and talk to your parents or your loved ones about some of these more difficult topics that us as adults are discussing. So that's why it was important for me to bring that to that space.
Yeah, I think it's super important to kind of give kids a voice. There's a ton of crazy stuff going on right now, and as a kid, it can be really intimidating to speak up to adults and voice your opinion. So I love that your books kind of give kids the confidence to do that.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So, do you have any upcoming projects that you want to share with our community?
Well, the biggest thing that's going on in my life right now is that I'm pregnant, and that is what I am focusing on and focus on, like we talked about, my mental health. Like I said, it was a curveball in a good way, in the sense that, it was planned, but I've never been pregnant before, so I didn't know how my hormones were going to react with the medication that I'm on and, the routine and lifestyle that I've built. And so in a way it kind of threw a wrench in things. And so that grace that we talked about and realizing that I'm not in control is definitely something that I've been focusing on. And so I'm thankful for my community that I have on Instagram because I've kind of taken a couple steps back just to really focus on this time with me and my family and my husband because, big things are happening right now. So, so yeah,
Yeah,
that is right now is creating a healthy tiny human.
yeah, of course. We are so excited to see your baby girl coming
Yeah.
soon. Such an
Yeah,
exciting
we are so excited too. Yeah, my husband is over the moon that it's a girl. Obviously, we would love baby regardless, but he's super hyped about that.
So, kind of as a closing note, we are going to be in the Big Bend Market in Tampa on June 25th for anyone to come out and come see us. It's a great way to come meet the brand and honestly save yourself those delivery costs. Um, and yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. We loved getting to talk to you, and honestly, it is a huge honor for me to get to talk to you
You're
and have this conversation.
I have loved getting the chance to chat with you, and obviously, I'm so honored that we're collaborating and excited to see what we both accomplish in the future together. So,
Of course. So everyone, please go to Amanda's account and give her all the support and love in the world. We are so thankful to have her as a collaborator. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have for today. We are People of Happiness. We're a comfortable clothing brand and we're sustainable, and we really just focus on spreading happiness all over the world and bringing more conversations like these into everyone's homes. So
yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, have a good one. Thank you.
thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. I hope everyone had an amazing time talking to Amanda. And yeah, that concludes our live session. See everyone next time. Bye. Let's see.